Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is July 4th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 131 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all your comments pulled up in front of me. As always, before beginning this video, I'm gonna mention I am not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first comment from user JD9QN. Sorry, it's YouTube is no longer showing me the names, it's showing me handles. I don't know why, but that's what happened. My processing time has went down from 10 months to 2 months. I hope it's making progress. Well, sounds like it is, and 8 months going down is really refreshing to hear. I wanted to ask you if you can, in a follow-up comment, let everyone know, because I know everyone is going to be interested, which particular case you have, which petition, which application. Are you looking at USCIS website processing times, or are you looking at the Department of State's visa bulletin? And for one of the family preference categories, the time went down for the availability of the immigrant visa. I'm sure everybody on this channel who's watching the videos on this channel would be interested to hear for which petition the time went down. So please, if you can submit a follow-up comment, I would really appreciate it. Okay, moving further to the next question from Aliyah Seja. Hey, hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, Aliyah, appreciate it. My documentarily qualified date is 20th April 2023. Okay, so it's just kind of recently, and my US embassy is in Islamabad, so in Pakistan, I think Islamabad, Pakistan. I am still waiting for my interview, and on case status it's showing that my case is still at NVC. How long is it gonna take Islamabad embassy to schedule my interview? And my category is I-130. Okay, Aliyah, thank you very much for asking your question. So I'm gonna ask you for a follow-up comment as well. If you can, let me know which family preference category you're in. Because if you are in immediate relative category, then the immigrant visa is already available. And since you're already documentarily qualified, let's see, so end of April, May, June, so about 2 months, a little bit like 2.5 months since you're documentarily qualified. You probably have another, possibly 4 months, maybe possibly a little slimmer chance, like 6-7 months, a little bit longer. In some situations they take a little bit longer. I know Islamabad embassy is a little bit busier, not Islamabad, the US embassy in Islamabad, they're a little bit busier than a lot of other US embassies around the world, so they might take a little bit longer to schedule your interview. But the point is, if you're in immediate relative category, the immigrant visa is already available. That's it. There is no more waiting. You're just waiting for the US embassy to schedule the interview for you. However, if you're in one of the family preference categories that deals with the visa bulletin and you have to wait for the availability of the immigrant visa, depending on your priority date, you might be waiting a little bit more for the availability of the immigrant visa first and then the interview schedule. So Aliyah, if you can, let me know in a separate comment. Don't respond to this comment, my comment, within your comment, because YouTube does not send me those notifications. Submit it as a separate comment if you can. Priority date, preference, family preference category. Already know the chargeability area, but if you can, put it again just so that I don't forget. Now, if you are in immediate relative category, or if you know for a fact that your immigrant visa should already be available, what I would recommend doing is, it's not gonna hurt, you can give a call to the US Embassy in Islamabad and ask them if they can tell you when your interview was scheduled. Most of the times they say we can't give you that information, but sometimes they might be able to, say, hey, okay, it's scheduled for this and that. I've seen cases where it happens. Okay, moving further to the next comment from Shinoda Bekit 8701. Shinoda Bekit, thank you very much for being publicly subscribed. I really appreciate it. I'm a refugee in USA. When can I apply for my family and how? Please and thanks for all your efforts. Shinoda Bekit, thank you for your question. Appreciate your kind comment. So if you already have granted refugee status, you can apply for your family right now. And I'm actually going to show you the petition that you're going to be working with. It's a very similar petition. I'll put the link here so that you don't have to search for it. But I will use this as an opportunity to demonstrate some navigation on USCIS.gov, which is the official government website for US citizenship and immigration services. This is the front page, and you can find the link for this website in the description of this video. So if you're looking for any kind of immigration form, application, petition, this is it. This is where you find it. This is where you start it. We're gonna click on forms right here at the top of the navigation menu, forms. And then we're gonna click on all forms right here. And this will give you all of the immigration petitions and forms that are available. So you are looking for a form I-730. And there you go. Here it is, Refugee Asylee Relative Petition. I-730 is pretty much exactly the same as I-130, except I-130 is for permanent residents and US citizens petitioning for their family members. I-730 is only for refugee and asylee. So you have to be in a granted refugee status in order to apply for it, but if you are, and sounds like you are, you can definitely submit this form. I do have the video on this form I-730 on how to fill it out step by step. So check it out, and you will be able to find all your answers. But I'm gonna copy this link right here and we'll paste it into my comments so that you don't have to search for it. Okay, so let's move on to the next comment, again from Shanuda Bekit 8701. Hello, my friend got out of detention with just ICE interview. Okay, so he was in detention, he went through the interview. Can he file an asylum request on his own or must be with a lawyer, and what's the difference? Excellent question, thank you for asking. So whenever it comes to asylum applications, you can definitely file it online. In fact, as of quite recently, I would say it's been much easier to file asylum applications because now that application is available to file online. And the application form is actually, I'm gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go to all forms. It is 589. There we go. Well, actually, you know what? It doesn't look like it's available to file it online. May I file with USCIS? Wow, so it looks like it's no longer available to file online, which is strange. So it looks like they got rid of it. I'm not sure why, but it's no longer available to file online. So scratch that. You see, it's very important to stay up to date on all of this. So let's see when they change the edition. So it looks like they just recently did some changes to the asylum application. So I think I'm gonna have to actually do another video on this application because my older video that I did, I think like a few months ago, which was also update for I-589, I did for older version, and looks like they updated in March. So there you go. This is the page that they're gonna need to do the research on. Whenever it comes to asylum applications, they are, I would say, if you are rating it from 1 to 10 on how hard the application, how complicated the application is, I would say they're about 7, 8. If you're, familiar with the immigration process, if you're familiar with USCIS and how to fill out the application forms and what things to look out for and preparing the documents and typing up the statement, it is pretty complicated. So if he is good with English, if he is, if he's willing to do his own research and spend time and put it all together, he can definitely do it, or she definitely can do it themselves. But obviously keeping an immigration attorney in mind is also a good idea. Okay, let's move on to the next question from Landy Chokristian. 8235. Hi, I'm from Philippines. My category is F1. My mom is US citizen. My priority date is February 2012. When is the possible interview, if ever? Sorry you're dealing with this. Yes, it does take quite a long time, even if your mom is a citizen. So F1 category, it's parent is a citizen petitioning for a child over 21. So we're going to look at the visa bulletin. We know it's 2012 priority date. I'm going to look at the graph A to see the whole length of the backlog, how long you have to wait for the availability of the immigrant visa. So here it is, F1, and the priority date for Philippines is March 2012. Wow, so it is in 2012. And you are in 2012. You're in February 2012. And the priority date that is right now in Philippines, getting there, people from Philippines, with a priority date in March 2012, as of June, July 2023, their immigrant visas are becoming available, which means you are 1 month, according to the visa bulletin, 1 month away from becoming current. So yes, your interview is right around the corner. It's really, really close. I would recommend checking out the video that I have on this channel. It's called, I don't remember what it's called, sorry. It's something about the interview for the immigrant visa. I-130 interview questions, I think. I will put the, in the recommendations of this video, I will put this link for that video. Check it out, because it's time for you to start preparing for an interview. It's really, really close. So you've done all your waiting. It's right around the corner now. And don't get me wrong, it might take another few months, it might take up to 6 months possibly, because, administrative processing, NVC transferring the case to the embassy scheduling the interview. But compared to what you've been waiting for, how long you've been waiting for already, it's nothing, no time left already. It's right around the corner. Okay, moving further to the next question from Delano Richards 3471. I went to the interview, but they gave me a 221G refuse letter. Say that they need few documents. I see. Okay, so sorry this happened to you. Make sure to find the documents that they requested. Bring them to the interview, obviously. So it looks like it's not as scary as just get the right documents, bring them in, and everything should be fine. That's why it's very important to be prepared for an interview. It's prepared to bring all of the documents that you have submitted to the NVC, all of the documents for any kind of updates that went along the way, that happened along the way, in a separate folder, just in case if any question comes up. That's why it's important to be prepared. Okay, moving further to SQL Babe. Please, I hope you answer my question. My sister's priority date is December 2019 and she's documentarily qualified on December 2020. Okay, so documentarily qualified quite a long time ago. F2A category. Please, do you know when she will be scheduled for interview? Alright, let's take a look at the visa bulletin. F2A. So looks like F2A people that are, I'm gonna assume it's all chargeability area, not China, not India, not Mexico, not Philippines, all chargeability. So for the rest of the world. September 2020. So people with a priority date in September 2020, as of June, July, right now, are getting their immigrant visas are becoming available. And your sister is in December 2019. And or September 2020. Wow. So your sister been waiting for a long time. So I'm gonna ask you, SQL Babe, if you can, in the follow-up comment, let me know, were there any delays along the process? For example, with the NVC, when your sister was working with NVC, submitting all the documents when she was working to become documentarily qualified, were there any problems with documents? They were, for example, reviewed and then they said no, we need different documents, something along those lines, because it looks like the priority date is already current and the immigrant visa should already be available. So I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised. It's definitely already current. So a few things I would recommend to do. First of all, I would recommend submitting a public inquiry with the NVC and letting them know that, hey, my immigrant visa is already current according to the visa bulletin and nothing is happening still, no interview, as quite a long time. And also reaching out to the US Embassy, local US Embassy, where your sister is going to be going through the interview, and asking them as well over the phone, just saying, hey, I'm documentarily qualified. My immigrant visa should already be available according to the visa bulletin. I wanted to see when my interview was scheduled for. I'm pretty sure the interview should have already been scheduled, but still, because it's kind of been a long time, I would recommend, following up and checking it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post the response here, and I'm gonna post the link for the public inquiry form, and I'll show everyone how to find that public inquiry form. You can find it on this website, travel.state.gov, which is the official government website for the Department of State. This is their visa bulletin page for July 2023. You can find this link in the description below of this video. So from this page, you're gonna click on Contact Us at the very top right here. I'm gonna open it in New tab. And then US Visas Contacts, we're gonna click on this. And then you'll scroll down a little bit. And in the very first row, right here, you will see email public inquiry form right here. So we're going to click on this, And then you will see online public inquiry form, immigrant visa inquiries only. We're going to click on this. And here we go. This is the official public inquiry form for the NVC. You will put the NVC case number here, beneficiary's full name, beneficiary's date of birth, petitioner's full name, who you are, beneficiary, petitioner, email address, and then in your inquiry, obviously just introduce yourself, polite, professional, introduce your case, and then your inquiry. So I'm gonna copy this thing right here and paste it. And then whenever it comes to finding the contact information for the US Embassy in your country, just use usembassy.gov website, and it lists all of the countries, and for each country you can find the US Embassy in that country there. So definitely reach out. Okay, let's move on to the next question, comment from Barbara Duarte 653. Hello from Brazil. Unfortunately, my husband was not documentarily qualified. We have two issues. First, we submitted his new military record as well as a translation, one that's not on the sample document webpage. He didn't serve and they didn't accept. That's the only document that has been issued now. And VC wrote, please replace this with an acceptable military record from a correct issuing authority. Please use our document finder. Okay, with the issue number one, Barbara, it sounds like you have some, because you said you submitted a military record with translation. It tells me that it wasn't the military record for the US. Yeah, so they don't need the military records for, you know, other countries, especially if he didn't serve. I wouldn't worry about that at all. I wouldn't submit it at all. If he served here in the United States, then that's the military record they recognize and they can look at, and then they can accept it. But if he didn't serve in the United States, other military records, they really don't, you know, they don't need it. That's why they said that it's that they need a military record from a correct issuing authority. That's why they consider it an incorrect issuing authority, because it's from another country. So you can completely disregard the military record, especially if he did not serve. You don't need to worry about it at all. And then the second, on DS-260, he informed that our 16-year-old US citizen daughter will be immigrating with us because she's currently living with us in Brazil. NVC wrote, the petition you have filed does not allow derivative status for family members. This means that any spouse, unmarried child under 21 or parent will require his or her own petition to immigrate. Okay, so the second issue, if your daughter, 16-year-old daughter, is a US citizen, then you don't need to include her on the petition at all, because she's a US citizen. She's not going to be immigrating to the United States because she is already a US citizen. She's a citizen of the United States of America. She don't need to immigrate with you because she can just come here. She should have her American passport or American birth certificate, which she could get her American passport with. So you don't need to include her in that petition at all. So this is the response that they gave you to that is a very generic response, and it doesn't really explain why they don't want your daughter on the petition. But that's the reason why they don't want her, is because she is a US citizen. Should he open an inquiry about the new military record format and to explain that our daughter's situation? Honestly, what it sounds like that you guys need to do is just remove the military record and then not include daughter on the petition at all. If she is really a US citizen, don't include her on the petition for sure. And then the military record, if you did not serve and it's from another country, you know, I'm assuming from Brazil, don't include it at all, and that's really it. So it's not like the documents are missing. It's just that there is extra stuff that is not needed there. But everything sounds good. It's just you're gonna have a little bit of delay for them to review it again. But everything is fine. I wouldn't stress much about it. It's really not a big deal. It's just a little bit for extra processing for them to look at their, all your documents again and say, okay, now it's good. So just remove them and basically kind of resubmit it for the review, and hopefully it all works out. Barbara, let me know once it does. I'd really appreciate your follow-up comment on this. Okay, moving further to Tilak Silva 1338. Hi, my child age 26 got the welcome letter with the cover of CSPA. During the visa interview, F41 category, his visa was denied as he was aged out according to consular officer's calculation. If so, why NVC included his name in the letter of invitation? Can we appeal against this decision? Tilak Silva, I'm very sorry you're dealing with this. This is tough, and sorry you're dealing with this. This kind of sucks. So here's the thing, right? The way the CSPA works for family preference categories, you can only subtract, and I explained it in this video, so you probably already know it. You can only subtract the time the petition was pending with USCIS from the current age of your child. So if your petition, I-130 petition, was pending for most of the times about a year, year and a half, maybe 2 years for, whenever we are in fourth preference, family preference category, if you subtract it from, 26, the current age is, still brings it down to 24. So you would need more than 5 years of pending petition, I-130 petition. And it's not a visa backlog that we're talking about. It's specifically the I-130 petition with USCIS, and they don't take that long, unfortunately. So most likely your kid does not qualify under the CSPA, and that's the the calculation that the consular officer did. Now the reason why they received your child, you received the cover letter and the welcome letter from NBC with the CSPA, is because obviously your child was under 21 when this petition was filed. So that's typical practice that they do in order for you to make the calculation and see if they still qualify under CSPA. So there isn't really much point to do this appeal. Obviously you can still do it, but it's really not going to change much, because unless your I-130 petition was pending for longer than 5 years, it's really no point to appeal the decision, because sounds like the calculation was done right. What seems like you have really couple of options right now. Probably the best thing to do is for your child to apply for a non-immigrant visa, B1, B2, so that they can travel with you here and then at least have an ability to travel back and forth. And once you come into the country with your immigrant visa, which will convert to the permanent resident card, or temporary permanent resident card, but you will come into the country as a permanent resident. As soon as you enter the country, immediately filing the petition for your child so that they can eventually immigrate. It's going to take some time again, and you will have to do some waiting, and I know it's annoying. I have an I-130 petition myself that I will be waiting another 13, 14 years on, probably longer, because backlog keeps on growing. So I understand how it feels to wait. But that seems like the only option. Again, like I said, I'm not discouraging you from appealing. You can try it. You can give it a shot. But again, look at how long your I-130 was pending. And if it was not pending for, close to 5 years, then it's really not going to change much. Okay, moving further to the next comment question from user QR6UJ. So it handles now. Thank you, my friend's husband married her GC and now she's homeless. Wow, that's horrible. Yes, this is really bad. You're very welcome. I'm glad this video was helpful. But yes, see, stuff like this happens. Unfortunately, people take advantage. The system is unfair, and then people taking advantage of other people because the system is unfair is even worse. So evil gives birth to more evil. Let this be example for everyone. Evil gives birth to more evil. Okay, moving further to user DX7VX7KN. Can I file COS from H1B to B2 online? COS is change of status. So actually, let's take a look. That's a good question. Let's take a look at the form I-539, which is the application to change status or extend the status, non-immigrant status. So let's take a look. I know there are a few restrictions here and there. You must not file to request extension or change of status to any of the following classifications. So you cannot change to H1B, and you cannot extend H1B using the 539. But it doesn't say anything changing from H1B to B, which should be definitely a doable and possible thing to do using this online application. Obviously, I would recommend filing it online because it makes it much easier. So yes, it sounds like yes, absolutely. You definitely can do that. Okay, so let me post the responses here. Looks like there's 2 comments. I'll put 2 responses. And we're gonna move on to the next one from Eunice Porus. VL2DV. Hi, I'm a priority date is February 2012. So my priority date is February 2012. When is my interview? When the visa will be available? I hope you answer my questions. Thank you and God bless. Eunice Porus, thank you very much for your question. So your priority date is in February 2012. The thing is, I'm going to need your family preference category in order to answer that question. It's definitely not immediate relative, so it's got to be one of the 4 family preference categories. And since you're waiting since 2012, you can be in F1, you can be F2B, you can possibly be F3, F4. So let me know which family preference category it is, and in a follow-up comment, and I would be able to give you some rough estimates. So I'm going to need 3 things. I'm going to need your family preference category. Please mention your priority date once again so I don't forget it. And then the chargeability area. And I would be able to give you rough estimates. Okay, moving further to the next common question from Horsjot Dami 3394. How long do I have to wait for my interview? F4 category, Mumbai, India. Priority date, October 2005. Documentarily qualified, January 2021. Okay, let's take a look. So we're going to look at the F4 and India. They have their separate chargeability area. So it looks like right now, people with the priority date in September 2005, their immigrant visas are becoming available. So you are in October 2005. Okay, so you're literally just 1 month away. September, October, 1 month away from the availability of the immigrant visa, judging by the visa bulletin as of July 2023. So your interview should be right around the corner. Again, right around the corner. It can be like 4 months, 6 months. It can be a little bit longer, 9 months in some situations. But after waiting since 2005, that is, not much of the waiting left. So you're almost there. You're almost there. You're almost current. So your interview should be scheduled really anytime now. Okay, moving further to the next one from Annalisa Salazar 380. What to do if the petitioner dies a month before the interview appointment? Medical is finished, just waiting for interview. Should I cancel the interview? F4 category. Wow, Annalisa, I'm very sorry you're dealing with this. So you definitely do need to update, provide an update. And I would recommend updating the NVC. That's the people that are, basically preparing the case file, the package that they send to the US Embassy. And then based on that package, US Embassy, they schedule the interview. So you definitely want to submit a public inquiry form with the NVC and update them on the situation. I would also call the US Embassy and let them know what happened and see what they tell you. There is a practice, there is a certain process that is involved if similar situations happen when I-130 is approved and then the petitioner passes away. There is a separate process. I'm not familiar. I've never seen cases where it is so recent, so close to the interview. Because you have to have your interview if you've done your medical already, you are less than 30 days definitely for the interview. So you're like right there. So man, I would definitely reach out to the NVC and I would definitely reach out to the US Embassy and talk to them and see what they say. The thing is, I don't want you to be in a situation where because you already done the medical and your interview is already scheduled, so you're really right there. You just need to go and get that immigrant visa. I don't want you to be stuck in a situation where you go there and they tell you, oh, sorry, now we can't give you the immigrant visa because that happened, and now you basically have to be stuck again because you already been waiting for a very long time. F4 force preference category. It's the category that takes the longest for the immigrant, for the immigrant visa to become available. Man, yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough. Again, if you submit a public inquiry form, again, they might cancel the interview and say, oh, you have to, deal with the whole other process now. And man, honestly, Annalisa, I would probably recommend reaching out to an attorney, to an immigration attorney about this, because this is definitely way beyond my expertise. I've never seen cases like this where it's that close. I've seen cases where petitioner passes away after the I-130 was approved, and basically what happens when that happens is the beneficiary, they have to find another sponsor basically who's willing to take over, because now the main sponsor, the petitioner, passed away. So now they, on the same approved I-130 petition, they have to find a different sponsor. So you might be stuck in this situation, but the problem is I would hate to see you being stuck in this situation, because you already done your medical. You're that close. You're literally probably like a week, 2 weeks away from that interview. So it would really be messed up for you to just, for them to cancel the interview and for you to go through basically, spend time now trying to find somebody else who is going to be sponsor on the approved petition. So reach out to an attorney, and I would say it's up to you what you want to do, and whether you want to submit the NDC public inquiry now, and I showed how to do that, so you can definitely find it. I'm not going to put the link and encourage you to submit it. It's up to you. And go for an interview possibly, and then if that question comes up, you tell them, or you tell them yourself. All of this is up to you, because it really is a tough situation. So Annalisa, I really hope that it all works out as best for you as possible. And if you can, I would really appreciate if you can come back to this channel once there is an update on your case, whether you went to the interview or whether you decided to contact them and let them know and what happened, and come back to this channel and let everyone, because I'm sure everyone would be interested to know what's going on. Okay, let's take care of the last question comment for today. Better Views 1226, watched whole program but couldn't find information about F4. Better Views, definitely check it out again. It's there. It's in the video. In my visa bulletin, I go through all of the family preference categories, and F4 is there as well, because I compare it to the previous. So all of the family preference categories are discussed in this channel. So please check it out again. So thank you very much everyone for watching this video. I really appreciate your time today, all your questions. If you have any follow-up comments, questions, let me know in the comments below, and I would really appreciate it as always. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.